Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Carmody Medical provides solutions for your everyday needs. Hot and cold compression wraps provide therapeutic compression for the shoulder, hip, and knee. The therapy wraps are constructed of an insulated outer fabric and a ventilated cotton pocket to protect the body. Elastic belts allow mobility and deliver a gentle, adjustable compression. The reusable therapy packs can be removed from the pouch and placed into the freezer. Contact Jim for more information.
Welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Networks. It's Michael Carlyle along with Sebastian Noel and no Leroy again. Is Leroy on assignment?
Well, the rumor that I heard is after last week's NFL talk, HR sent him to racial sensitivity training. I couldn't confirm that, but that's the rumor.
He's forced to spend like 4-hour chunks of his day on a knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Could be. We got a lot to get to on the show today. NBA Finals are set. Lobo baseball season comes to an end. Basketball season tickets are on sale. Have you got your season tickets for basketball yet?
I have not, no.
Yeah, honestly, I have not either. But they are on sale. They are available. So we got lots to get to. Micah Frankel will be along here in just a moment with his CageMinds.com segment. I know he's got a guest today, so it's going to be another busy show.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got part 2 of that interview with Jordan Byrd. It really gets good right off the top. He talks about that 100-meter controversy and then his whole recruiting, the Notre Dame thing, and how he ended up at San Diego State. So we got a packed show today. Yeah, a lot of good feedback on part 1 that we ran on last week's show. It was really good stuff. Yeah, and I think part 2 is even better when we delve into that whole controversy. You need to see the way he handles even talking about that and stuff. Right. The interview really shows you how good of a kid Jordan is. So we got a lot to get to, so let's get to it. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and Micah Frankel will be along with CageMinds.com. Nothing completes a trip downtown like a visit to Lindy's Cafe. You won't find a more relaxing restaurant to unwind at. Located on 5th and Central, proud supporters of ProView Networks. Lindy's strives to be a friendly and welcoming place.
Lindy's, a great place to be seen. Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
As one of the only locally owned dealerships in Albuquerque, Galley Chevrolet understands the importance of giving back to our community. After all, we're not a franchise dealership or some corporate-owned conglomerate. We're a local business working hard to make this a better place to live. That's why you'll feel good knowing the money you spend here stays here and supports a long list of community organizations like the Police Department, Sheriff's Department, and many, many more. Support the dealership that supports Albuquerque, the all-new Galley Chevrolet.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, #life change will occur.
Hey, New Mexico, come check out the newly remodeled guest rooms at the new Wyndham Albuquerque Hotel and Conference Center, featuring 309 rooms, 30,000 square feet of meeting space. New Mexico's only indoor water park featuring the Wave Runner. 2,200 square foot fitness center with hydro massage chairs. Also enjoy breakfast at our new Manzanita Grill and watch your favorite team play at Altitude Sports Bar and Grill. It's all at Wyndham Albuquerque Hotel and Conference Center.
At AC Prime, we cover cooling conversions to your plumbing needs. Locally owned and operated with hands-on owners. Call us today, 505-235-4904. AC Prime, our prime concern is you. Full House Real Estate. At Full House Real Estate, we handle everything from home sales to property management. With us, our team is your team. Give us a call today, 505-244-1918. Terry Cosper Insurance Agency is a proud partner with ProView Networks and a proud supporter of New Mexico high school athletics. Terry's been a local farmer's agent for over 20 years for auto, home, life, and business insurance. Just like high school sports are important, so are teen drivers. For more information, call Terry or one of his licensed staff members at 898-5556. Quotes are available for you. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Welcome to a place where we talk about people getting punched in the face. This is Cage Minds. I'm Micah Frankel. We'll wish a happy retirement real quick to Michael Bisping, who has officially called it quits. The former UFC middleweight champion, former tough winner, has said bon voyage to competition earlier this week. Ton of stuff going on in the MMA world. We have a lot of it covered at CageMinds.com on the Cage Minds Uncensored podcast. Just to catch up on what went on this past weekend, there were a ton of events, so you can check that out at the podcast. This week, it's a happy fight week for us locally as Jackson Wink Fight Night 3 takes place at the Isleta Resort and Casino. You can go to the Cage Minds Combat Sports News Facebook page to check out the videos from the weigh-ins and the press conference for Fight Week. We have that coverage there. Saturday night, you can join us live at Isleta for a huge fight card. Then the following Tuesday, Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series is coming back and going to be a part of Episode 1. My guest right now, the Brown Bomber, Wilfredo Santiago, who's joined us here before. Thanks, sir, for being here.
Anytime, man. Thanks for having me.
So Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, a big opportunity. It's that opportunity to get the contract in the UFC. No, that's a major goal. What was the initial thoughts when you got this opportunity?
I was on cloud 9 for a while. I had to jump in my car for 2 days, and I just drove. Let it sink in, and then once it sunk in, we were just ready to go. We was game planning on terms of what we were gonna do for camp, how we were gonna do it, how we were gonna execute it. So to come fight night, we'll peak right at the same time. It's been great, man. I can't explain anything more.
The last win, 19 seconds. Here locally, actually, Jackson Wink Fight Night 2. Take us back there. Tell us about the win over Omar Acosta.
Like I said before, I have great respect for all my opponents, and Oscar was one of them. He was a good opponent. I know he was one of those guys that have fought some of my teammates in the past, and he's always come ready to fight, and that's what I was expecting. And once we got, I see my opening quick. I went in and we got it in 19 seconds, and I was extremely happy. I'm like, wow, we put in a lot of work, and it was over fast.
At that point, you don't have the Contender Series yet lined up. You had won 6 of 7, still there, won 6 of 7. What were you expecting following that win?
After that win, I was actually just another, one thing that I stopped doing about a couple years ago was expecting things. Just, if you work hard, and you put in the work, you put in the hours in the gym, I believe it'll show off and it'll pay off. And I think I was just expecting another fight, getting ready for another fight, and then when I had a couple things that happened in my family, personal life and stuff, so I had to take a little bit of time off to attend to those. But right after that, within that time period, this opportunity came up, and we're excited about it. We're happy about it. The camp has been phenomenal. This is actually my last hard week of going, and we can't wait. We got a good game plan for my opponent.
Talking about the camp, how's the preparation been for this fight? Has it been any different with the importance on this fight?
It's been brutal. This camp has been brutal. I've added a couple new guys to the training crew. As you know, Coach Week is always, he's the head guy. Pretty much everything gets ran through him, and he approved a lot of the new changes that we had did, and it's been again. The hardest, brutalest, most camp I've ever had was this camp thus far. And the thing about it is that I know I'm going to have more hard camps throughout in the future. But this is, I have to say, this one was brutal.
Now, I know you thought you trained hard before, but is it different taking it to that next level, really feeling that you're going to go against somebody also that's considered a top prospect in the sport?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said, because I've always considered myself a hard trainer, a hard fighter. And I was like, because I always put it in the back of my mind, I always knew I was going to make it. I just didn't know when. I stopped, expecting it and just working hard, I don't know if that makes sense or whatnot, but I knew it was coming, but I was just, in God's timing it'll happen. And I always told myself, I'm like, I train hard as it is now. Imagine when we do get an opportunity, how hard am I gonna have to go? And for definitely, I even got yelled at a couple times from my nutritionist and my coaches to fall back, because it's like I want this so bad, and I just want to rise to the occasion and show up. And sometimes we as fighters can be a little hard-headed, and I kind of found myself at times a little hard-headed because of that. So I had to pull back and get some resting, because resting is very important and very key to training.
Heck, we even had that conversation one day, talking to you. You're like, I want to do something. Well, how many sessions have you been doing? This many. You're right. And we even had to have that talk. And sorry to sound like a broken record, but when you have an opportunity like this in front of you, and then you have to use that rest. We've, modernized times now. It's not just hard work. How hard is it, though, coming from that old school, to pump the brakes, to relax?
It was extremely hard. Again, I'm one of those guys that, I believe all my hard work has led to this point. All my sacrifice has been to this point. So I just want to put on a show, but I want to be ready at the same time. So, me going through that transition in terms of having this opportunity, it's like, all right, cool, we got it, so now we're going to make the best of it, and I just wanted to just keep going. And sometimes we forget as fighters, that, rest is important, and nutrition and all that type of stuff. Don't get me wrong, my weight, everything is on point, everything is good, we're ready to go, we're on track. It's just that, it's like, you want something so bad, sometimes, you have to, you need other people to check you a little bit and be like, hey, listen, you're doing great, you're ahead of schedule, but we need to get some rest involved, and we need to do this and do that, so that, when you get to your fight, you don't gas out.
You did have a loss 2 fights ago, up there fighting for the CES title. What did you take away? What was the plus that you were able to take away? Because I know there's always a lesson learned, even in a loss.
Well, in that fight, I wouldn't say like I was. Obviously none of us want to lose, I feel like I was dominating in that fight, and I got caught. I let myself get caught. Did I get too happy? A little bit. Did I create that opportunity for me to get caught? I feel like I did. Credits to him, but I do believe, which I know I'll run through him down the road, it will be a different outcome.
Now, one thing that everybody's going to obviously emphasize from your fight is going to be the height difference, the reach difference. It's nothing new to you, though, right?
No, man, my guy's a giant. My guy's 6'3". It's for this camp. That's another thing too. It's another good thing about it is that a lot of the tall guys that are part of the team that leave and then come back for camps, for some reason they all had fights around my fight. So I was training with a lot of big guys. I've been training with heavyweights. One of my brothers, one of my best teammates is Lebron Lewis. He's getting ready to fight also on the Contender Show. I think it's on July 10th. He's 6'3". He's about like Kevin Holland, like about the same in terms of height, range, length, and whatnot. And we've been getting in some good rounds with him. I've been getting in some good rounds with him, and it's been perfect. I mean, we're excited about this fight, man. You know, I know Kevin's a great guy, you know, game opponent, but we got something for him, though.
And then with the team also talking about the Contender Series, you, Jordan Knight, Vaughn Lewis. It's a lot of guys lined up for the Contender Series on the cusp of that next step. And then the three of you guys being in the middleweight division, has it made it something special the last couple weeks? You guys are all fighting in the same amount of time.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, it's true what they say. You know, the team, you know, we bleed together, we cry together, we train together, we push each other. And this camp, like I said, it's been the most brutalist, but it's been one of the best though, because like again, and there's only 3 that you named, 2 including myself, but there's other guys that are making the UFC. The Bellator debut. We got Kobe. We got a couple of other guys that's fighting overseas, fighting for I think it's ACB.
ACB and Global Fight Nights.
Global Fight Nights. I mean, we got a lot of big guys that have been instrumental and been a big part of my camp. Not only my camp, but of their camp, but we're all in the same camp together. I would say, like for instance, like we got in June, like we got a good about 25 to 30 guys just from our gym fighting alone.
So it's made for an action-packed camp with everybody coming up at this time.
Yeah.
Now, don't want to divulge your game plan too much. What are some important things, though, in this fight? Probably same keys that are always important when you're facing a bigger foe.
Well, obviously, like, you know, they asked me this question a couple of weeks ago when I went out to Vegas to go do interviews and stuff for the Contender. They were like, well, you know, I said, honestly, a guy that big, I cannot stay, because one of the things that we've been watching in his film is that a lot of the guys that he has fought seem to fight him at his range. And you fight anybody at that range. I don't care if you're 100-0, you know what I mean? If you fight somebody at their strengths, it's a good 9 times out of 10, you know, the longer guy is gonna win. So obviously I have to get in, I have to stay in, and I have to stay out.
Kevin Holland, obviously another top prospect, another dangerous finisher. What are some things that you've noticed that he does well that you have to avoid?
He does. One thing that I've noticed is that he throws a lot of nice sneaking kicks. He uses his range, and he's a game opponent. He's ready to fight. He's ready to put on a show, and that for me is like, wow, okay, we got a fight on our hands, you know, because I'm the same way. The only difference is that I'm a shorter guy and he's a longer guy.
Was it different going through the process, the UFC prospect? You talked about going out to Vegas, filming some stuff for the Contender Series. How has this process felt? Has it felt like you're getting closer to that big stage?
Yes, man. Everything. I mean, like I flew out about a month ago. I flew out to Vegas. It was for 3 days. And it was long, it was exhausting, and it was a lot of video recording, a lot of, you know, meeting the UFC people, who else? Getting to know them and stuff like that, building up relationships, and as well, you know, you can just feel that it's, like, oh, it was different environment. Tensions was high, even though everyone was just there to, you know, I ran into my opponent as well, and it was just, it was cool, man. It was something new and something exciting, you know, something that I was like, all right, you know, we're here, let's go make it happen, you know.
Is there pressure to perform, knowing the UFC likes finishers, knowing that they're not handing contracts to all 5 winners?
Well, it's honestly, like, it would be to, like, a regular fighter, but I kind of feel like my not a regular fighter, but like those fighters that just, you know, go in there and get decisions. You know what I mean? I believe like my style is what they're looking for. I mean, my fights, you know, win, lose, or draw, my fights are always exciting. My style is just, you know, it's just that way. It's built that way. I'm an aggressive guy. You know, I like to be an aggressive guy. I like to just sit there. I like to bang. And not only that, but the good thing about it is that I'm a shorter guy. So who doesn't want to see a shorter guy knock out the bigger guy, or that type of fight that's gonna create fireworks? I know I want to see a fight like that, even if it wasn't me.
It's June 12th, right?
June 12th. Yeah, we got about 2 weeks away. Exactly. Well, yesterday, 2 weeks away, and I'm ready to go, man.
the first episode of season 2 of Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. The very first fight of the 5-fight card starts off with Wilfredo Santiago taking on Kevin Holland. Tune in to UFC Fight Pass, and there'll be more Red Menace TV in just a moment.
Supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
The Barley Room, a proud sponsor of ProView Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
When I train for American Ninja Warrior, I schedule regular workouts to stay in shape.
To keep my car in Ninja Tough shape, I head to a Napa Auto Care Center for regular maintenance and genuine Napa Auto parts. Like brakes and batteries. I trust my Napa Auto Care Center for quality parts and quality service. And with the 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty, I drive away with peace of mind every time. Visit AutoCareNMU.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
The luxurious La Bella Spa Salon offers the best personal care for your improved quality of life.
At El Bosco Bistro and Wine Bar, you will enjoy elegant, private dining with an old-world cuisine containing sustainable ingredients from the farm to your table.
La Bella Spa Salon has the latest in CBD therapy. Feel better with a botanical hemp massage, or choose natural CBD products to treat pain, PTSD, and anxiety.
Enjoy the world-class experience that will leave you renewed, refreshed, and looking your best. La Bella Vita, you deserve it.
Hey everyone, Adam Deal here with ProView Networks. Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Welcome back to Red Menace TV here on ProView Networks. You know, Sebastian, the one bad thing about Leroy not being here is every time Mike is on and Micah brings in the fighters and stuff, I just want to punch somebody, and, well, Leroy's not here to punch.
That's true, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we've got part 2 of your interview, right?
Yeah. So we talk about, like I mentioned before, we went into that 100 meters because that was the most topical thing to talk about. It was it was going on at the time. If you don't know, Jordan ran what he thought was a record-breaking 100 meters. Originally on the track, and he goes into this, it came up as a 10.3. Then on the board it's flashed to 10.4, which would have tied Newcomb's record. And then by the time he gets to and it was announced by the stadium PA announcer as a record-breaking performance, by the time he gets into the official tent, it's a 10.5. So he talks about that, reacts to that. And you know what? And it just shows you how great of a kid Jordan is, because I couldn't even get him to bite on that. I asked him the question. I said, did you feel some of that old school versus new school? A lot of people around the athletic community, they're old schoolers. They want to protect their own. Do you feel any of that old school versus new school bias sometimes? He wouldn't even bite on that. He's just such a good kid. You just come away from this interview absolutely rooting for him to succeed at San Diego State.
Yeah. So how does that happen? How does it change in such a short period of time like that?
Well, he kind of touched on it. You know, he said that he noticed some inconsistencies with the gun on the day, but he said, you know, it was odd that the gun was just messed up for his one race. But so he went into some details about the starter starting the gun pretty quickly, so he had to go quicker into his drive phase. He got really into those details that you and I are so familiar with being speedrunners ourselves.
All about the drive phase,
drive phase and push phase and all that.
Sure.
So he went into all that, but yeah, this part 2 is really good.
Well, let's get right to it. Here's part 2.
All right, we're back more with Jordan Byrd now. We got to talk about it, the 100 meters. That's what everyone's been talking about online. So first of all, from your perspective, what happened, that whole mess? Take us through it.
Well, the first week on Friday, I didn't run a good time, and I knew from then that I was going to mess up the time that I ran Saturday. And so I ran 11 flat that first day. And coming in the second day, I knew I was going to have to push myself, and I knew the other kids next to me were going to run their heart too, so their hardest, and I knew I had to go. And actually the guy that was shooting the gun was really fast, and right when I popped up, he shot the gun, and I wasn't really ready. And so when I came out the blocks, I knew that I had to make my drive more longer. And when I came up off my drive, I knew I had to get my knees up and run fast. And when I looked at the clock, I didn't really believe the time, because all the mistakes I had coming out that race was crazy.
So what was the time you first saw?
The time I saw was 10:3, and when I saw 10:3, I was like, dang, that's crazy.
So you ran a crap race and you ran a 10:3.
Yeah.
That's what you're thinking in your mind.
Yeah, and then it popped up 10:4, and I was like, I know I didn't run a 10:4. And then everybody came up to me congratulating me, and it felt really good. And then after I got my medals and stuff, they said that I didn't run a 10:4, but I was kind of confused that it popped up 10:4 and they said I just ran a 10:5, and I didn't really believe that.
So well, first of all, does a runner kind of know in their mind? You have a feel?
I had a feel when I came up my drive phase that I had to push longer or hold my strength, like energy longer. And when I came out of that and I leaned, I kind of knew I might have got it, might have ran a 10:5, or I knew I didn't run a 10:3, but that's what came up, so it was weird.
So to go from a 10:3 to a 10:4 to a 10:5, has that been explained to you? How have they explained that to you?
Nobody has talked to me yet about that. The NMAA, I saw on Twitter, they said I ran a 10:4, and then I guess the guy that was doing the clock or something said I ran a 10:5, and then they said something about the gun was messed up, but I still didn't get how the gun messed up in one race, and after that it was fine. So.
And you always seem like such a level-headed dude, so I mean, how do you move on from something like that? I know there's been discussions online, of course, about it, but how you seem so level-headed about everything every time I've talked to you.
Yeah.
What's in your head about it right now?
I'm just glad track is over for me. You know, it was a tough season, coming off injuries from football, sprained ankle, torn meniscus, so it was really good to finish track with the good set like that.
I think sometimes you see modern athletes now, when they do something great, the old school tends to lean towards the old school. You know, everything was greater in the old days. I walked uphill both ways to school, that kind of nonsense, right? Do you ever get a feel of that?
My dad would be like that sometimes, but then he comes back into the new generation, and he's like, well, I'm gonna have to live off this now. So he taught me how to do that. But I've heard about it and stuff, and people tell me like, oh, they care about the old and the new now. So I'm just trying to do me.
So what's next for you on the track?
Just the Great Southwest. I have that coming up, and then after that, I'll probably be done with track, and then going on to college now.
So how many races would you say you've won in your lifetime now on the track? It's probably been a ton, right?
It's been a lot. I know I've had a lot of lost races too, so it's kind of hard to explain both, actually.
And what do you do now in the summer with your transition from Manzano to San Diego State?
I'm actually training with Jared Saavedra with Athlete Ready, and he's really been helping me too. So he's getting me ready for the college life and getting ready for the workouts we're going to be having too.
So how will you look back on your senior year? It was obviously pretty special. I mean, you're going to have those diamonds on your hand all the time, but how are you going to look back on it? Because it was obviously a pretty special season.
Yeah, I know. I'm just glad I could do it for Manzano. You know, they haven't won a championship since the school was built, so it was really cool to do that, especially being a quarterback for Manzano. And doing that for them, it was really cool. Even though I'm not a quarterback, it was really nice to do that for them.
We'll talk about that transition. First of all, how long was that in the works when Chad switched you to quarterback?
Yeah.
What discussions were made? You know, how did you and Dakota talk about it when it happened? Tell us about that whole thing when that happened.
Well, I was actually a quarterback when I was younger, but it was mainly just option and just running the ball because it was different than high school. But when I got into high school, I was a wide receiver, and I never played wide receiver before. And the coaches really liked me as a wide receiver. And when I moved into varsity my sophomore year, I actually played quarterback for the first game I've ever played, and it was against Cleveland. And the reason why I played quarterback is the quarterback that was there, he got in trouble during practice, and they put me in, and I was so scared and nervous because it was my first game and I was playing quarterback, and the first play was a throw, and I knew, I was like, oh, if I throw an interception now, it's gonna be the death of me.
So you hear it, Jordan was scared and he was nervous. So it does happen, right?
Yeah, it does. But after that, they put me at running back and stuff, and then Dakota Powell came in, and actually before Dakota Powell, we had a quarterback, Michael Roybal. He got hurt in the game and broke his collarbone. And then Dakota Powell came in, but coach didn't like how he was running the offense with him because he was a passing quarterback, and mainly the plays were option and stuff so the quarterback can run. And Dakota Powell has speed, but not good enough speed to run the offense.
You can say it. He doesn't have Jordan Byrd speed. You can look right into that camera and say it if you want.
No, I can't do that. But they put me as quarterback my junior year, and from there they thought I could run the offense good. And when I was the quarterback, I guess Coach Adcox told me that we lost one game when I was quarterback, so he kept me as quarterback my senior year.
So what were the expectations going into that senior year? Was it a championship? Was it an undefeated season? Or was it just, you know, more of the process and everything will take care of itself? Talk about your expectations for yourself and the team heading into that senior year.
My junior year, when we lost to Rio Rancho, it was the semifinals, and we had my senior year, we had a quote called "One More Step," and that one more step was to get to the finals, and then we kept that quote and we used it and it worked.
A lot of teams have that philosophy, right? The Lobos have unfinished business. Well, they never finished that business, did they?
Yeah,
so what did you guys do to make that a reality?
We just worked hard in the weight room and on the field. A lot of kids on there, we knew that we could make it to state and go undefeated, and that was in our mindset that we could do that, and then ended up working out.
Any setbacks during the year? Any teams that you thought, okay, this could give us a test?
When we played Rio Rancho, we thought it was going to be a good game, and then blew them out.
Then the game started?
Yeah,
and we remember how that went.
21-0 in the first quarter. I was like, it was shocking, and we kept that lead and won, and that's what really...
Any nerves going on the road to Cruces? I know Field of Dreams, we kind of talked about it on the air a little bit, Coach Mendoza and I. Hey, this could be the game where it's tight and it's a challenge. What was your mindset before that game?
It's just another game to me. That was in my mind, and everybody was talking about the Field of Dreams, but it's just a place to play football at, and it never scared me.
And then title game. We played forward to the title game. Did you ever get a chance to just look out over that sea of humanity? I mean, that had to be pretty special.
Yeah,
that place right in your school's backyard was packed.
Yeah, coming down out of the tunnel to go warm up was crazy when they were screaming and yelling for us. I've never been in a big crowd like that. You know, I got to get used to it now because of college. But coming onto that field was crazy, especially the first play. The floor was shaking. I couldn't hear nothing, and it was just crazy.
And then obviously you guys took care of business. Season finished championship. Coach Adcox announced his retirement just a week ago or so. Yeah. Talk about what he meant to your career and really your life.
Yeah, that man, me and him have our ups and downs, you know. He actually coached my sister in middle school. When he was coaching at Cleveland Middle School, he was my sister's track coach. And so he knew me when I was little. So coming into Manzano, we already had the connection we had. So he's like my second dad to me, even on the field and outside of the field. I can always count on him. And on the field, if I had a mistake, I knew I was going to get yelled at like a dad. So me and him had our ups and downs on the field. So I'm glad I got to play with him, and I have one more game with him, the All-Star game, so I'll probably be playing with him again.
You guys seem to have a very good rapport, though, on the sideline. From what I noticed, sideline reporting with you guys, you would come over and you guys would have a pretty open dialogue where obviously you were in clear command of the offense. You knew what was going on, and you guys were having discussions like two adults, really.
Yeah.
Talk about that relationship, quarterback to coach.
Yeah. Even if we go 3 and out, I always come up to him and he'll ask me, what do you see out there? And I'll tell him, like, the linebackers are playing close, so we should run slants or something. And the safeties can't hold Andrew Erickson. And we'll talk about that kind of stuff. And I'll tell him, well, we can do this to make this better. And if this guy can block more or block him down, we can get outside of the linebackers. And me and him have that connection, and then he'll tell the offensive line or the wide receivers what we could do better.
So now there's a lid on your high school career. What will you look back at most fondly? What is your most fond high school memory athletically?
Probably the state game when I scored that touchdown. When I got the ball, I actually ran and saw my players in front of me, and then I was like, dang, I'm about to get tackled. And so I closed my eyes, and I was just running through and ended up popping out. And I looked up and saw the end zone, and I just ran full speed to it. So that was one of my favorite memories.
All right, so take us through your recruiting process. When did it start, and how did it start?
It actually started my freshman year. During the summer, New Mexico offered me my first scholarship, or not a verbal commit, or verbal scholarship, and that was the first time I've ever got one, so I didn't know how to deal with it, so I wasn't really excited about it. And my mom and my dad were like, you need to get excited about things. So, like, if I win state,
they just saw your college education go off their books.
Yeah.
You should get excited.
Yeah, when I get stuff like that or win, I don't really get excited. But I started getting letters from Washington my sophomore year, and they were talking to me. And Notre Dame was really interested in me. When I started talking to them, they offered me, and all their coaches got fired, and one of the recruits was one of the ones that got fired. And when he got fired, I lost all contacts with them, and so I lost that offer from them.
So what was, I would say, after your freshman and sophomore year, and things start heating up and they get a little more serious? What was the short list at that point? What schools were on the short list at that point, in your mind?
Notre Dame, UNM, and probably Arizona were on my short list. Those are the 3 I picked.
And when did San Diego State come into that fold?
They came in my junior year after football. They called me and talked to me for a few hours. And one question my dad asked before they even talked to me was, do you guys have a track team? And the coach was talking on the phone, and he paused for a good 2 minutes. He's like, well,
somebody tell me if we have a track team. He had to figure it out real soon.
Yeah, and he was like, well, we don't have a track team for the boys, but we have for girls. And my dad wasn't interested in that. And then we kept talking to them, and my dad finally liked San Diego State too.
So, when you made that decision, who was in that inner circle with you? When did you commit?
Actually, my mom was. My dad told me, he was like, just do what makes you happy. And I kept that. And then my mom was, she was the one who came with me to colleges and my official visits and unofficial visits. She was the one who said that San Diego State would probably be the best one for me because they had a 95% chance rate of football players graduating. And that was the main reason why I picked San Diego State too.
Any connections to Rocky Long?
A lot. Everybody in my family knows Rocky.
Right.
friends and friends know Rocky. It's crazy. The people that I told Rocky about, he knew, and so it's really cool to have that connection with both of him and the family members.
So obviously, when parents can trust that their little boy's going somewhere that he's going to be taken care of, how big was that, do you think, in their decision? Is their comfort in Rocky Long?
They really enjoyed that too, especially my dad, because my dad's the one who's always tough on me. So he's told Rocky Long he wants somebody that can push me and make sure that I won't give up. So.
What are the goals at San Diego State?
Just eat healthy and have fun out there, and make sure that I do the right decisions and make the right choice of friends.
All right, we're going to do some rapid fire here to close, so no more hard questions.
All right.
These are all right? What pro team would you most like to play for?
Carolina Panthers.
So we're going to see you on Sunday in a Panthers jersey. All right.
Yeah.
Basketball playoff time, so I got to ask, better player, Michael or LeBron?
I'm going to have to go with LeBron.
All right, that's all right. All right, fantasy football draft in town. You can't draft any Monarchs. Who's the first 2 players you draft?
Keyshawn Banks, and I'm going to have to go for, dang, that's hard. I never had this question before.
You're somebody on offense too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get somebody on offense. Probably the quarterback for LaQuava.
All right, okay, all right. Let's finish this sentence for me. Jordan Byrd's game reminds me of?
I'll have to say Madden.
All right.
I don't know.
All right. Jordan Byrd's sports role model is?
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt. All right, okay. And finally, Jordan Byrd's legacy will be?
I don't know. I haven't had that question.
That's all right. You got 4 years to carve that out, right?
You pick it for me. Let's see what you got.
Well, we'll all be watching on Saturday and hopefully Sunday, right?
Yeah, maybe somebody would tweet me that question. So we'll
all right.
see.
Well, we hope we are going to be watching you a lot on Saturday and Sunday.
Sir.
Thank you so much for coming in, Jordan. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, #life change will occur.
Hey, New Mexico, come check out the newly remodeled guest rooms at the new Wyndham Albuquerque Hotel and Conference Center, featuring 309 rooms, 30,000 square feet of meeting space. New Mexico's only indoor water park featuring the Wave Runner. 2,200 square foot fitness center with hydro massage chairs. Also enjoy breakfast at our new Manzanita Grill and watch your favorite team play at Altitude Sports Bar and Grill. It's all at Wyndham Albuquerque Hotel and Conference Center. At AC Prime, we cover cooling conversions to your plumbing needs. Locally owned and operated with hands-on owners. Call us today, 505-235-4904. AC Prime, our prime concern is you. Full House Real Estate. At Full House Real Estate, we handle everything from home sales to property management. With us, our team is your team. Give us a call today, 505-244-1918. Terry Cosper Insurance Agency is a proud partner with ProView Networks and a proud supporter of New Mexico High School athletics. Terry's been a local farmer's agent for over 20 years for auto, home, life, and business insurance. Just like high school sports are important, so are teen drivers. For more information, call Terry or one of his licensed staff members at 898-5556. Quotes are available for you.
Back here on Red Menace TV, it's Michael Carlyle and Sebastian Noel, and good stuff. I really enjoyed the second half of that interview.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a humble kid, the way he reacted to that 100 meters thing, and then even when we kind of, towards the end, when we talked about him getting thrust into that quarterback position at Manzano, you know, the funny thing, he was talking about the quarterback he was replacing, And he said, he just didn't have the speed. And, I tried to get him to say hey, he didn't have Jordan Byrd's speed, but he wouldn't say that, right? So he was just so humble. Talked about, what makes him nervous before a game, and just, that magical run his senior year. And then obviously once he got into San Diego State discussion again, you could see just how involved his parents were in that discussion. And it sounded like they really had to convince his dad, because his dad's a big track and field guy. And with San Diego State not having a men's track and field team, it sounds like they really had to convince Pops to let him go to San Diego State there. And just obviously great family there, great kid. He's going to do big things. Yeah, and that was one of the things I found fascinating, was what went into that thought process of giving up the track and just focusing on the football, because certainly a kid as talented as that could have done that somewhere else. Yeah, absolutely. And you do have one more chance to see him run, and that's at the Greater Southwest. So that's going on this weekend here on ProView, and then he's probably going to be done with track. So that's. And, pretty impressive to win the 100 meters your freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. He's considered New Mexico's fastest athlete all 4 years in high school. It's kind of like I was back in North Carolina. Well, exactly. Back in the day, I was very fast. And you know how competitive it is in North Carolina. Yeah, so. It was, it was so cutthroat. That's why I got out of it. Yeah. Absolutely. Other stuff going on locally. A disappointing Lobo baseball season has come to an end, and now the talk is out there about Birmingham not having a contract for next season. It seems like everybody wants to work it out and get something going. But certainly the season didn't go the way anybody wanted it to, and honestly, that's kind of hurting Ray's negotiating from that standpoint. Yeah, sadly, he's only had, I believe, 2 seasons under 500, and to have one of those in your contract year, that's rough. And I never thought I'd see the day when the Aggies are going to the regionals and the Lobos are not. And really, it seems to me he's only preparing one Lobo for the draft, and that's his closer trip. But you could bet that this team will bounce back, Michael, because it was the youngest team in all of college baseball. He started more freshmen than anybody. Average age-wise, they're the youngest. And Coach Birmingham has a track record. So for anyone to think that, okay, this is the beginning of the end, Lobo baseball is going to start losing, don't bet against Ray Birmingham's track record. Yeah, no, and that's what everybody needs to remember. Yeah, he didn't suddenly forget how to coach. He didn't suddenly forget how to bring guys in. Sometimes the cycle of recruiting and whatnot, you wind up with a young team, and that was the case this year. Well, I remember reading in the media notes that actually this year will be only his second season at the helm where the team was batting under 300. You forget, Ray had this team in the top 10 in the country in batting average for about 8 seasons at the helm. They'll turn it around. Yeah, and so really when you're looking at it, it's not so much of, well, he's got to go out and recruit this, he's got to recruit this. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing. Just these guys getting the year of experience and getting a year better, there should be improvement in this team next year. Absolutely, and I think what Ray has in his favor a few things. One is Eddie Nunez is a baseball guy. Right. Baseball was one of his sports at LSU. Him and Ray, from everything I've read, have a pretty good relationship. Secondly, what came out in the article as well was that Ray still thinks he's got a little bit of work to do on the stadium, and the university would be very stupid to let him go before he finishes that work, because let's be honest, short of digging the dirt and getting the shovels out, Ray's done everything to build that stadium. He's made the relationships, he's built them, he's gone out and gotten the money, he's added to that thing, and he says he wants to complete it. He wants a cover over the seats, some other things, press box improvements, so the university would be really foolish to let him go, seek other employment before he finishes it up. That's his project. Right. No, and if you're serious about baseball, and like you said, Eddie Nunez is a baseball guy, so you assume they are, you've got the guy you want. You don't want to jeopardize him going somewhere else, him leaving. It's beneficial to both sides to get a deal done, and I'm sure they will. Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, if they don't get a deal done, Ray would probably be unemployed for a day or two. That's it. With the amount of connections he has in the game, would not surprise me if he was a hitting coach at a very high level college program or even in the minor leagues. There's not a lot of guys that teach hitting with the results and track record like Ray Birmingham.
No, and he's been very successful here. He's had a very successful career. And again, it gets back to the point, if you're serious about baseball, you're not going to find many guys better suited for the job than Ray Birmingham.
And if you're serious about local kids going on at the next level, there's no one else you'd rather have at the helm because Ray's built this program around local kids.
Which I think makes it all the more impressive, and it does go to show if you seek them out, if you look for them. Now, look, every sport's different. I'm not saying you can do the same thing in basketball or football, but with baseball, if you seek them out, if you look for them, they're there in this state, and they're pretty doggone good.
Yeah, I think, Michael, when it comes to college coaching at any sport, there's two types of coaches. There's your really good recruiter, and then there's your X's and O's guy that coaches them up. And what Ray has really shown with these local kids is he can put 100 points on any kid's batting average.
Right.
So just get him in here, and he's going to absolutely coach them up.
Where was he when I was playing Little League? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Oh, well. All right, NBA Finals. The matchup set, they get underway on Thursday. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about how, despite his greatness, this is the end of the road for LeBron.
When you're in a hurry, Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
The Barley Room, a proud sponsor of ProView Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
When I train for American Ninja Warrior, I schedule regular workouts to stay in shape.
To keep my car in Ninja Tough shape, I head to a Napa Auto Care Center for regular maintenance and genuine Napa auto parts. Like brakes and batteries. I trust my Napa Auto Care Center for quality parts and quality service.
And with the 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty, I drive away with peace of mind every time.
Visit AutoCareNM.com to find a location near you.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
The luxurious La Bella Spa Salon offers the best personal care for your improved quality of life.
At El Bosco Bistro and Wine Bar, you will enjoy elegant private dining with an old world cuisine containing sustainable ingredients from the farm to your table.
La Bella Spa Salon has the latest in CBD therapy. Feel better with a botanical hemp massage or choose natural CBD products to treat pain, PTSD, and anxiety.
Enjoy the world-class experience that will leave you renewed, refreshed, and looking your best. La Bella Vita. You deserve it.
Here on Red Menace TV, nobody's ruining the Lakers, that they've ruined themselves.
That's true.
NBA Finals are set, Cavs and Warriors. Before we get there, though, look, whether you like LeBron, whether you hate LeBron, you have to admire what that guy does on the court. He basically willed that team, the Cavs, in 7 games over the Celtics. A Celtics team that honestly was probably better than the Cavs, especially based on the inconsistent play of guys not named LeBron on that team. But just like he's done so many many times in his career he put that team on his shoulders, and he's got them to the finals again.
Well, I'm always hesitant because this always sounds like LeBron bashing.
Right.
But Boston really just choked away that game 7, and Brad Stevens is going to get a pass, of course, because he's been anointed the new hot thing in the NBA, right? The best coach there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. But they choked away that game. But yeah, I mean, LeBron, you can see. Here's a good comparison: James Harden. James Harden's the anti-LeBron. He's the anti-clutch. You almost expect him not to show up in a Game 7. You knew what you were getting from LeBron, and you got that. And I don't ever want to underestimate that. Yeah, you got a great effort. But obviously, players like Kevin Love and Jeff Green stepped up. You take a look at that box score in Game 7. Those other guys actually showed up to play. So the narrative that it's just LeBron and 4 bombs, well, I don't buy into that 100%.
It's pretty close, though. And yes, look, they did show up in Game 7. And the Cavs are a much better team when those guys do show up. But even during the regular season, you didn't get consistent play out of anybody not named LeBron, and maybe to a little lesser degree Kevin Love.
No doubt. And what you saw in the playoffs is the games that they won is usually when someone stepped up and had a decent game. The problem with Boston, I mean, fourth quarter aside, where they just started chucking up threes and missing them all, they lost that game in the first half. They needed that game to get into the hundreds, Michael, because it's basic math. If you're good for 40 from LeBron and the rest of his guys need to come up with about 70, chances are those guys aren't going to do that. But the game could be a low-scoring game, which it was. Then you knew Cleveland had a puncher's chance there. And once Boston didn't go up 20 in that opening half there, we have a resident LeBron lover in the building here, Adam Deal. And I text him, I said, man, Boston's ruining this game. They got to put this away here in the first half, and they didn't do that.
I didn't know he was a LeBron lover. I feel less convicted trying to defend LeBron now. Just kidding. In all seriousness, 8 straight finals for LeBron. I mean, look, that's impressive as all get out. And
how impressive is that coming out of the East, Michael?
It's still impressive.
I don't know.
Nobody else in the East has done that.
Well, the East has never been this weak during this.
And I'm with you on that. Look, look, there's no doubt which conference is the better conference, but still, 8 straight finals. To put that in perspective, there's a generation of elementary school kids who know exactly 3 things. The sun rises in the East, it sets in the West, and LeBron James plays in the NBA Finals.
See, that's why you're an award-winning radio show host, Michael.
No, I stole it off of Twitter.
Oh, okay, all right.
But look, in all seriousness, if you go back, the last time LeBron wasn't in a finals, Instagram hadn't been invented yet.
I read that one, yeah.
The kids love the Instagram. The Saints had just won the Super Bowl. The New Orleans Saints had just won the Super Bowl. Justin Bieber was the biggest star in the world of music.
Well, he still is in your mind, right?
Well, be that as it may. And Drake, everybody's favorite NBA fan, hadn't dropped his debut album yet.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to take away from 8 in a row, but it's the East. The East is absolute garbage.
Which gets us where we're going next, despite everything I just said about LeBron. And I do believe all of it. He is fantastic. I don't know that I'm ready to say that he's better than Michael, but he's pretty doggone good. Having said all that, the Cavs have absolutely no chance to win this series. They can win a game. They might win 2 games. They are not beating the Golden State Warriors in a 7-game series.
No, it's just not going to happen. The Warriors are just too deep of a team. And I do think Golden State is really going to miss Andre Iguodala if he misses this series.
I agree.
I think that is going to help lead to maybe dropping a couple of games on the road there. The Warriors just beat themselves now. You can see when you're watching, when they're disinterested, they could drop a game. I don't know. Do you really see this being that good of a series? I see a bunch of blowouts at Oracle, and then maybe Cleveland blows them out or wins one at home. But I don't see this being a very entertaining series.
I think LeBron probably makes at least a couple of the games interesting. But yeah, look, Golden State is just the superior team. You mentioned the possibility of them not having Iguodala, and that's certainly a blow. But oh no, now they've just got to rely on their 4 All-Stars.
Yeah, Kevin Love might not play game 1, I read.
Right, whereas with the Cavs, all right, if Kevin Love doesn't play, that seriously hinders this team. Now, maybe Tristan Thompson steps up and gives you a double-double, or maybe he plays 28 minutes and scores 1 point, which he's been known to do as well.
Yeah. And, the X factor, of course, is going to be who now is going to guard LeBron, because really Iguodala did a nice job of that.
Yeah.
And so you would think that their best defensive option left would be Klay Thompson, but then he gets into some foul trouble. The problem is, and you kind of touched on it, is so many things have to go right for them to win a game, them being Cleveland. Golden State doesn't have to check all those boxes.
Right. With the Cavs, the way they're currently set up, if LeBron scores 60 a night, they're not winning more than 2 games in this series. I mean, they're just not. And if I'm Golden State, look, you want to make it as difficult for LeBron as you can, but assuming you don't have Iguodala, all right, we'll play good D on him, but we realize he's going to get his points. We're not going to let Kyle Korver beat us. We're not going to let Jeff Green beat us. We're not going to let J.R. Smith have a big night, because even if LeBron gets his points, as long as those other guys don't have huge nights, they're probably not beating Golden State very many times in the series.
Now, I know we only have 30 seconds left, Michael, but are you telling me that Kyle Korver's not going to have an MVP series?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you to Micah Frankel, CageMinds.com, Leroy for not being here, for Sebastian Noel, I'm Michael Carlyle. We'll talk to you next week here on Red Menace TV on ProView Networks.